What is up, everyone? Welcome to Mechs on Deck. Today we have a familiar face.
Let's do it live.
Oh, thank you, Omnitype, for the tier 1 for 18 months. Appreciate that.
18
Omnitype.
months. 18
yeah,
months.
That was a good time to throw that in there.
There it is. Hey, that's 2 children now. That's a quick turnaround, but 2 children.
I don't think that's advised, but
I would definitely leave a little bit biologically probably possible, but ill-advised. So, but
Been a while,
yeah,
bros.
welcome. It's been a hot minute, man. It's you've been busy. You've changed a little bit. You've changed, man. you've changed.
Hey, I'm one national championship older, you know.
Exactly. Hey, although I will say, in basketball, OU got the last laugh I saw the other day, since Alabama really cares about basketball.
Hey, we're a basketball school now, if you haven't heard.
OU took down like 4 top 10 teams in the same month. It's like the first time it's happened
Alabama
ever.
and Oklahoma are both on a tear, just beating top 25s, like, and everyone's like, "What's going on? These are football schools. What is happening?"
Hey, OU had Blake Griffin that one year.
True.
Yeah, I mean, we had Colin Sexton that one year.
Texas had Kevin Durant that one year.
Yeah, that one year.
No, welcome back. You've changed. We're here to talk about congratulations on the rebrand. If you guys didn't see, Omnitype officially launched February 1st on Monday. It was really awesome to see. We've all been kind of patiently waiting. And I'll be honest, it hurt a little bit when I would go to the website and it's like, we're working. I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, it took longer than I wanted it to.
It's okay.
Which most things I do, I guess, do.
It's more about getting it right than doing it quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I had things planned, like, obviously before we even closed. It's like, these are the things that we're going to do. This is how long I think it's going to take. Hopefully 2 to 3 weeks. And like the entire first week we were closed, I spent it redoing things that I never even had planned to do. I just like decided to do them on a whim. And then like the second week, I was like, wow, I haven't even started on my actual list. So
that's like one thing, like we were, Cyrus and I, whenever we plan something big, we're like, we'll do these 3 things. And then we'll get way too into something that never even came up. And then like prioritize that for a long time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
it's like, I didn't even plan to redo our customer service thing. That wasn't even a plan in any way. And I was using someone else's website as a customer and noticed it. And I was like, dang, I like this. And in like 3 days, I just completely redid the entire thing, just like without ever planning on doing it.
There you go. So, but we will get more into the Omnitype rebrand here in just a moment. First, a quick shout out to our awesome sponsors and partners, Omnitype. So we'll hear more from all these guys later, but Omnitype, Project Keyboards and Canon Keys, as well as our awesome partners, Zap Cables, Typebeast, and Smith & Rune. Be sure to check out all those websites. I can confirm all 6 of those links now work. So, the Mechs on Deck.Omnitype. I know we're still working out a few. It should work. All right. Well, then
it should work now.
Give it a spin. I think we should probably update our video because I think the video that pops
actually
up
take the S out of it. That might be why it's not working. because it's just like it's a redirect,
Yeah, HTTPS. Well, I will work on that in just a moment. But guys, click those links. They got lots of awesome stuff in there. So, and yes, Zap is the GOAT and cable making. But welcome back. This is, I think, your 6th time on the show. So glad to have you back. So it works with HTTP. Thank you, Streaking Bison. We like to do a fast 4. You've done it before. Let's see if it's changed at any point. Maybe you're a tactile guy now. Who knows? Like, anything's possible.
That's funny.
So, top 4 favorite switches.
Oh, well, I'm gonna show myself and say Acer's 8 Inks is number 1 now.
Ooh.
Just because I obviously built
recency bias there, huh?
Well, personally, I created it because it was my favorite switch with my favorite spring without the work, and it just happened to be in cool colors. So that's gonna be number 1. I'm gonna put black inks, like the regular ones, as number 2. They're slightly different, I'm gonna put stock topre. Actually, I'm gonna put stock topre as number 1. Actually, we're shifting things down.
Okay.
So stock topre 45G, 808 inks, regular inks. I think I'm gonna go vintage blacks for number 4.
Wow.
No
I feel
tactiles
like
in there. Or I guess topre is tactile, and it's number 1. So I guess you were right. Dang.
there you go.
Listen, man.
I feel
When
like
I'm right, I'm right.
I feel like Gator on Yellow's got the boot. I feel like I remember Gator on Yellow's being a staple.
Yeah.
On your
that's the
list.
spring that's in the 808.
Yeah, I was about to say, I
True.
was like, I'm pretty sure inks are just recolored yellows, recolored and the housing's different, but
they're just different in every way, but they are recolor.
True.
Ooh, Omnitype custom toper coming. You heard it here first.
I'm not going to say no to that.
2026, all right? It's going to be huge.
2026. Oh, man.
I put you on a clock, but I at least gave you 5 years.
Okay. 5 years. I think I can make
it. Next up will
Remind
be...
me in 5 years.
Next up will be your top 4 favorite key sets. And we'll take out ones... I guess we can leave in ones that you've ran, but not designed.
Not designed. Okay. That's fair. I'm going to put Topre High Pro Just Systems as number 1. This guy.
Sensing a theme.
Which this isn't officially. This is like a combination of 3 High Pro sets, but this
board
as number 1. Let's see. I'm gonna keep Modern Dolch probably at 2. Technically, I didn't design that. I was like the collaborator. So does that count? Can I put that on there?
I mean, and if we're even going deeper, Dolch was not. I mean, Modern Dolch was changing up another design that already existed. So
probably 80% Janglad. So
counts.
I think that counts. Modern Dolch Light, I don't think I can count because that was more me piggybacking off of his idea. Dang, I literally haven't looked at a keyboard besides this HHKB in like months. I'm gonna say Muted, number 3. I'll say let's go Oblivion Monochrome is 4. So just a bunch of gray sets.
There it is.
I'm sure there's some I'm forgetting, but
keeping it classy and I love. I think my favorite fast 4 with key sets is always not Nebulant, but I'm going blank on his name. Metropolis Neflock. Neflock, because he made like one of the most colorful sets at the time, and he's like, they're all just gray or it's like 9009.
Those are the best.
Muted.
I think most of my fast 4s have all been monochrome sets.
I believe
probably a different order of those like 5 that shuffle around.
Mm-hmm. So next up, top 4 favorite boards. We're gonna go ahead and say obviously the Bauer and boards that you have designed will be out. And I bet I can name number one.
Go ahead.
Since you just showed off your
the trend moving over. Yeah, I'll say HHKV Hybrid Type S stock is probably my favorite board. I could use this board and never have another one for the rest of my life. Which I haven't stopped using it since the day I got it, when they released it, whenever that was. So it took over. The rest is hard. This is probably, I feel like this is the hardest one for everyone. The boards.
It's always when you get down to number 4 is the really difficult one.
Yeah.
And this one, I feel like this one's changed the most for me every time I've done it. It's probably completely different boards every single time. And since I haven't used another board in months, I forget which ones exist. Gosh. Well, I'm gonna say the M65A, just because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to put an order on these next 3. It might just be 3 more. But that one's always had a soft spot in my heart. Let's see. Let's say Key Cult number 2. That one's, I like that one a lot. That's kind of cliche, but it's there for a reason. Dang. I'm gonna throw out a wild card that no one probably ever says, and I'm gonna say the S7 Elephant.
Ooh,
Recency bias, because I think that's one of the more recent ones I've gotten. It's unbuilt, but it's pretty crazy and unique.
It is. Front height way too high for me. Way
the
too high.
The bezels are just, it's like, I guess it's kind of like an art, which I'm not even an art guy, but you do something just crazy insane and you go just far enough past to where it's, you can tell it's on purpose, and it just ends up being nice.
There. Clacko, thank you for the tier 1 sub. It's me, Bear. Like Commander Bear? I haven't seen you in a hot minute, man. Welcome back. It's interesting. 2 of those stayed the same, but you also mentioned exactly.
Do you know what my other ones are?
So in the past, you've mentioned the J80. You mentioned. I guess
that one's off now.
We took. I guess one of them we let you do your own boards, and it was the Bauer and the TKL. But yeah, the M, and then you also claimed even no particular order.
I did on the other ones
with
too.
M65A, the M65A, and the key code number 2. So I thought that was funny. Is the key code or the Jane that has the box navies in it, or box pinks?
The Jane has the box pinks. Yeah, I kind of regret it, but it's okay.
Dude,
I use it for like half a day sometimes, and then I can't take it anymore.
your M65A, the Tiffany blue one, like yeah, that one. I always like, for some reason, that board for me, like in that color, is just tied to you, because I remember back when you used to do packing streams, back when the company was like in your house. That feels like forever ago now, but you always were using that board, like. And then I think you rebuilt it a couple times on streams there.
Yeah, the PCBs kept breaking. Those stock M65 PCBs so bad.
We've grown.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, last but not least, hopefully something that you might have changed, given the world kind of changed a whole bunch over the last year. Your top 4 favorite foods.
Forgot about this one. I'm gonna keep Chick-fil-A at number 1. Yep. That's probably been number 1 the whole time.
Every single time.
Yeah, so the world has changed, and we've eaten a lot of things a lot, like over and over and over again, I guess. Especially because we work so many hours that we just don't put thought into food often. It's just kind of like, we need to go home for an hour and come back. So what's the easiest thing to eat? But of all of those things, my favorites is we have become fried bologna sandwich connoisseurs. So fried bologna sandwich is up there. Don't hate on a fried bologna sandwich.
Hey, man.
let's see. I'd say let me put some chicken Alfredo up in there.
Ooh.
Yeah, chicken Alfredo, and then I'm gonna say just a straight up cheeseburger and fries.
Can't go wrong.
Do I need to order those? I'll order them for your statistician, whoever's keeping up with this. Chick-fil-A, hamburger and fries, chicken Alfredo, fried bologna sandwich. There it is.
There it is. We do have one of our first questions from Burgess Latro. Whose hair is longer? I don't know. Mine's gotten pretty long, but I think I'm a bigger person, so I think it might look, and I also have a huge head, so it might look longer. It might look long. I don't know. Who knows? Compare. Hold on.
Just for
all right, the top part of this Bauer is missing, but
Bauer for scale.
Bauer for scale.
From forehead.
Forehead. Let's do from forehead. All right, from forehead. So
yeah, he's got me by about 2-3 inches, 5 inches. 6. Holy crap!
I got really.
Yeah, he's got me.
I need to get it cut. Yeah, the top half of that.
I need it shaped up a little bit.
I need to trim the beard too, because when it starts getting square, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, when it's just like all growing.
This comes out faster, and I'm like,
you need to like
square. I'm like, okay, I need to like come down a little bit on it.
It just becomes like a pillar coming off of your face.
Yeah, keep it going. ZZ Top level. Let's go.
I sold a like the highlight of my Guitar Center career was selling an amp to
yeah, I remember it because I bought it in. I bought the amp in.
You bought the amp in, and I remember going up to you and be like, dude, guess what I'm about to sell? And to who? But no, I think like during quarantine and then like summer break, I don't think I just think I let it go. I was like, screw it. Let's see how long this can go. And in my like ID badge from this year, my beard literally goes off the camera. So when we got those in, I literally that night I was like, okay, I need to go.
My hair's been growing until it like I had it Osiris's length.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't necessarily cut to be long. So it's kind of like weird where the top is longer. Yeah. So I need to go get it cut like where it's cut.
Layer it.
It's supposed to be cut when it's long. Wow, that was a bad sentence.
We got there. So guys, Garrett is the owner and operator of Omnitype, formerly Dixie Mech. He has been in the hobby for quite some time. He is the designer of the Bauer. He is the designer of the Bauer Light. He is the designer of GMK 8008, GMK and SA dual shot, as well as I'm going blank on the car themed one.
Red Line.
Thank you. I keep wanting to say Red Riot. And I'm like, nope, that's a completely different set. So as well as many other contributions to the hobby. I think this is the 6th time that he has been on the show. So welcome back, G Bur of Omnitype.
Thanks. I try to make sure that I have more sets designed than Mechs on Deck appearances. So I have to, that's what keeps me going.
There you go.
I have to continue to design so that if I ever come back on, those numbers don't.
You want like a full minute of introduction of just things that you've done.
I need to like a piece of paper that's like. Now the other day, someone asked me and I listed them all out, like everything I've ever designed, and I was like, "Holy crap!" Like I didn't even realize that it was this long. It's like I don't look back. The moment we ship it, it's just like next one, let's go. Like I haven't even opened the last one I designed. I don't even remember which one it was. It took me a long time to even open 8008. It's like the moment it comes in, we ship it, I have to just move on. So I never get to just kind of sit and enjoy it.
Vietnamese Goose, we will get there. We will get there for multiple questions at the end. But let's get into Omnitype, the name change. I guess elephant in the room. The name changed. It needed to be changed, and you did it. If you guys want to learn a lot more about, I really we'll go into the press release section because I think that's a very well done section of the website. If you go in and do the Our Final Form press release, I can even do that and read up on it. So I guess talk about name change. I know you've discussed it in the past, but
Yeah. Sometime last year, we had a couple customer, like early spring maybe of 2020. We had a couple customers ask us, kind of like, "Do you sell desk pads without the Dixie logo on them?" They're like, "I don't know if I feel comfortable having that on my desk at work." And I was just kind of like, "Oh, I never thought about that." I was like, "That's a good point." And then I kind of just told them, like, "Well, all right, we don't right now. Um, sorry about that." Which kind of got us like on that idea that, I wonder, like, maybe we should change our name. Like, if someone's just not buying something because of it, how could this could squash any opportunity for us in the future? Um, which, and to us, it was just a name. Like, it wasn't something that we were gonna fight for or anything. We didn't care to do that. Um, the only hurdle was the process of changing a name is insane. It's not something you can just like decide and it's done. Um, so eventually we decided to do it. We worked on it for months and months and months before we ever announced it. Um, yeah, that's basically just what it was. It was like, we don't stand for the things that this name at this point in the world is basically what that means now. Um, Not that wasn't what we meant it as, but there was many alternate meanings. That never even entered my mind when I named the business. Um, but it was just kind of like, that's how it is now, and we need to adapt and change it for the better. And it just kind of gave me an opportunity to do a lot of things in the branding itself more intentionally that I didn't do the original time, because originally the business was not, I didn't brand it as a company that existed. It was just like a thing I made for fun, and the brand evolved over time. I didn't at the beginning go, this is how everything's going to be, and it all works together perfectly. So with the Dixie branding, there are a lot of holes in it that I didn't like certain things that I was like, dang, I wish I had this, but it just doesn't work because I never thought about it until I needed it. So now I'm kind of like, I can start from scratch and get everything exactly how I need it, everything perfectly. And it was just kind of like a fresh start. I get to fix everything that I didn't do right the first time, specifically branding, which most people probably don't even think about any of that. But, and then just, it just kind of kept evolving to where I just kept seeing more opportunities. Now I can more legitimize everything. I kind of want to kind of more shift to, I don't want to just be this guy in this house. I don't want to be seen as a mom and pop. Um, I want to be seen as someone who makes very good stuff and can be trusted, and seen as someone who can deliver the number of goods and products and orders that we want to. Um, so I kind of wanted to be able to shift to that persona, which some people have said, "Oh, you're more corporate. I don't like it." But like, as we grow, like, community interaction gets harder. Um, so just being able to, I guess, control your own destiny better when you can do everything intentionally from the beginning, knowing what you need to fight or where you need to center yourself, which couldn't happen when you were just kind of doing it as you go. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
worked with a branding agency to do our logo, which was really fun. I've never been the client. I've always been the designer. Um, but I knew that my mind, I didn't have enough space or time in my mind to design it myself. I was like, if I do it, it's just going to look bad. Like, I can't just sit there and do this all day, every day, like someone else can. So I decided to actually hire someone, um, which is a really fun process. It's like 5 or 6 weeks of going back and forth. With a really, I chose like a really good one just because I wanted it to be really good because it means a lot to me. Yeah, that was really fun. as far as the main thing that people see that changes: logo, name, that kind of stuff. I can't remember what I've talked about on here and where I've talked about it as far as like name and everything.
It is nice, like you're saying. It's almost a reset button for you. Also, P Wade, thank you for the raid. Appreciate it, my dude. How was your stream? Because Dixie Mech was created when like you were just pumping out stickers, and then you ran 9009, and then it just kind of snowballed, right? Like it never, like you said, it never had the attention. Whereas now you get to kind of push the reset button and do something that does have the intention of your business and growing the business, and not just a name that you thought of that fit you and fit that time in your life. Like this now fits the business rather than you as a person.
Yeah, I mean, and me as a person, I'm not even the same as back then. Like back then, the only people I knew were people in Alabama and the lifestyle that just how things are. And then I don't know how many years it's been, 3 years of meeting and knowing and being friends with people in all other places of the world, of all other cultures and nationalities. I mean, your mind, you get more open minded and you see things from other points of view that you just never had the opportunity to see.
Yeah.
So I think a lot different than I did back then. Not saying that like I was choosing it in in a negative way,
No,
but
I mean it's
I
good.
didn't
It's
have
good to
the
show
I didn't
growth.
have the experience to know that I should have thought of it in that way back then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that's brilliant. It's good to show growth. It's one thing to make a change, but it's a whole nother thing to admit to yourself, like, hey, like there are things that I have never thought of due to growing up in a certain environment or whatever, and then being able to change, being able to admit that there is something potentially wrong or potentially just not as acceptable as it might be. It's kind of like, there might be jokes within your friend groups, right? That some people might not find funny that you guys find funny, and they might not be offensive, but they might just be like, well, like, why are you joking? Like,
Why are you saying
it
that?
sounds really bad, but if someone really likes fart jokes or something like that, and then people are like, that's
You don't say
disgusting.
that in the meeting.
That's different, right? It's like
Yeah.
that's different. Like it's different, but then when you can kind of grow and go, hey, it's different. Maybe I shouldn't be telling fart jokes in front of my boss, like, or something like that. It's
Or
good
at
to,
all.
yeah, or at all. I mean, maybe, who knows? So,
I mean,
but
I
yeah,
said fart jokes, but some things you learn to this should just not be anymore,
yeah, it's so.
and that's just how
Listen,
it is.
listen, I love a good fart joke, by the way, guys. Just letting you know. This is
Yeah.
no joke. This is completely off topic. I farted on my first date with my wife because I was like, I'm gonna let you know exactly
Nice.
who I am right now. It's like I'm not gonna hide myself.
Were you like in a
Anyway,
restaurant or something?
no, I think it was in the car or something.
It was
Maybe,
in a
no,
more enclosed space, the
it
most
wasn't
enclosed
in the
space as
car.
possible.
I remember
Way
what
to get
car
that
because I
joke
was
in
like,
for sure.
yeah, set the fucking bar. Exactly. Set the butt fucking bar. I'm like, you're gonna know exactly who I am the second you meet me. Yeah, I think it was. I think it was like in an open room, but anyway,
That's
enough
good.
about farts and my wife. Um, so congratulations on the rebrand. What can we expect? I know you touched on it, but for those listening, obviously, I imagine you did not go and throw out boxes and throw out all of these other items. And obviously, there are still items floating around with the old name and logo on it. But how soon can we start expecting kind of the full rollout of Omnitype?
Well, I think it was around. I don't know what group buy it was. I think Minimal or SA Dual Shot, one of the two, were the last ones that I put like an X cap in that we used to put in our own designs, which Jan Glad put it in Minimal for some reason. I didn't even tell him to. I think halfway through the group buy, I realized it was in there. And I was like, what the? But I stopped doing that knowing that it was coming. So it's like, I can get a little head start on here. But just because of the nature of pre-orders, we would either have to just stop selling things for however many months it's going to take until Minimal delivers, and then be like, okay, now we're Omnitype. Be like, okay, well then we're also out of business because we stopped selling things for a year. So it's just kind of like they're gonna slowly be happening. Anything that we could change, we changed. But a lot of things were already either they had already been sold, showing something, and I can't change it based on what 2,000 people saw when they paid for it.
Yeah.
It's just too much begging for someone to get mad. And a lot of them are already in production, so it was just kind of like too late.
Yeah.
But it'll basically be until minimal delivers. That'll be the last product that delivers with, which that's not even a whole logo. It's just like the X cap, so it's kind of subtle. It's
Yeah.
the last thing with an actual Dixie logo on it, or it's probably going to be some desk pad. I can't remember if the Modern Dolce ones had it or not. But if they do, that'll be the last ones.
Mm-hmm. And I like that you even a lot of people, we've talked about branding and just having branding, and not even with just the name, but just having branding on things. I like that you're moving into the desk mats that don't have branding. I think that kind of opens up for some people who, might appreciate a more just kind of blank slate desk mat as opposed to that. So I like that you're kind of opening things up and changing with, I mean, it's a complete overhaul. And I mean, that's why you've been so, I've been messaging you like every now and then for like I'll message you and I'm like, I might get a response in a week. And it'll probably be
so
something that I asked 3 weeks prior. Like,
I mean, it's like I thought that us shutting down and not selling anything was going to make it easier. But then I remembered that realized that myself am not all that involved in shipping orders and customer service because that's what my wife does. It's like I was like, oh crap, I'm still having to do all the stuff I usually do, which is like dealing with pass sets when color matching comes in or making sure invoices are paid and things are shipped and proxies have what they need. And then all of the future projects in the months, all of that has to keep going. I can't just stop for a month.
Mm-hmm.
So many designers messaging me and I'm just like, feel so bad. I was like, they probably feel like I'm dropping the ball on everything. I was just like, but it was a hard month. Like I definitely underestimated what it was going to take.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even finish everything. I can't remember what link you just sent, but I have another.
I sent a link earlier to the press release about the name change and.
Oh yeah, well, there's another one that outlines all the changes.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The
and
rebrand,
then there's like a thing at the bottom that's basically like
rebrand change.
These are the things we didn't get to at the very bottom. Mm-hmm. So I kind of about a week before I was like, okay, some of these things I'm just have to admit or accept that they're not going to get done. And I have to focus on the things that actually make the site work and look good and all of that. So there's still a lot more stuff I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm excited for my koozies, man.
Ooh, yeah.
So excited for my koozies.
Yeah, there's new koozies. Did you buy some? I was going to send you some with your.
I mean, listen, all right. We don't do Mechs on Deck for free with sponsorships. You got to send koozies, all right? That's a.
Yeah, I was already going to send y'all some koozies. I was just making sure you didn't buy them.
Listen, koozies are a must. So Upas, if you're listening, we're still waiting on that.
We got 3 colors now. We upped it from 2 to 3.
Oof. I like it. I'm excited. Yeah. So it's, I mean, I'm sure the other thing too, have you had a chance to like be excited about it? Like, I know you're a busy man, but like, this is awesome. Like, it's very rare that people kind of get to do a refresh, like a restart. And I feel like you're at that spot where people, it's a whole new, I mean, it's, that's why I renamed it New Brand Who Dis. Like, you get to start from scratch, but with a awesome fan base and customer base, where you get to do all these cool new things. So, like, have you had a chance to be excited about it?
I think it was Monday. Monday when we launched. Like at the end, I was up to like 3 a.m. Just because, like,
I know, because you pinged us. 3 a.m.
Did I? I pinged all the partners. I forgot. I was like, crap. we're live, and I haven't told them the new links. But the end of the day on Monday, like Tuesday had like freaking huge day one, which is like crazy. Like it sold more than 80082 on day one.
Wow.
Oh,
And it was
dang.
just like that on top of like lay down in bed and be like, okay, we did it. Like we made it through the day and it works.
I'm sure that's like reassuring that it's like, okay, the brand's not dead now. Like I know that that's always a fear when you go through a full rebrand and a name change.
It definitely
and
was.
You're like, okay, are we gonna flop? And seeing that, I'm sure it was like a huge relief.
Yeah. I mean, there's always a risk that when you change your name, that everybody who's not heavily invested in you or the community that just knows you as like that company that they see sometimes will not even realize you changed it and never see you again. So it's like putting as much work as you can into attempting to build the SEO the best you can or transfer it as much as that's possible and get all your links continuing to work so that even if they go to the Dixie Mech version, it still gets them to the right place. Like it was just so much of that kind of stuff. And I mean, I know we're still going to find some that break, which is what's nice about our community is everyone's so involved that they'll definitely let you know the moment something don't work. They're immediately going to make sure that you know, which is good because I can immediately fix it. But yeah, that was definitely a fear the whole time, which I never really thought about it all that much when we were in the middle of it. But every single person that would message me, like when we announced it, and they were like telling us, like, "Oh, I'm so proud of you. So it's such a good thing. It's such a scary thing." And I was like, "Oh, is it?" When everyone else kept telling me, like, it's such a ballsy move, and I was like, "Oh, dang, I guess they're right." Like, so I was a little scared, but I was like, I think we have enough of a base that can jumpstart once it gets back.
Absolutely.
And it actually did the opposite, to where it seemed like people were so antsy because it took longer that it kind of like did better than people forgetting, which was
They're
kind of
like
cool.
clawing at the gates.
Yeah.
I'm interested because in your initial post back in December, you talked about how you spent many weeks brainstorming names. How did you land on Omnitype, and what were some other ones that were close contenders?
Pull up my list. Well, I had so many like rules, you would say, that I needed a name to check off. Like so many. Like it needs to satisfy all of these different things. I'm trying to find my name list. But like obviously you don't want there to be another company that's either huge that you're never going to pass in SEO. Like example, when Massdrop changed to Drop, I thought that was a horrible decision because they're never going to pass Dropbox. Dropbox is always going to be number one. So not that like obviously it's fine with them because they had like a bajillion customers, but it was like I don't want to change or choose a name that's too close to some huge business. Obviously, you want to be able to get the domain name. Those are the obvious things, but for me personally, I wanted it to be 2 to 3 syllables. Because I wanted it to be easy to remember. I didn't want it to be like Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Roll Tide, Elephant Keyboards, and be like nobody's gonna remember how to type that into a address bar. Like, so and I needed it to be easy to spell. So I didn't want some weird spelling where you use a K instead of a C or something like that. And then I wanted it to somewhat have something to do with what we do, not be like completely random, which I had the thought of going completely random, like Google and Twitter. Like those words mean nothing before those companies existed. They just, once they existed, then they had a meaning. So I had a couple names that were just like gibberish that kind of were catchy. Then I decided I wanted to have something to do with keyboards. But then at the same time, I didn't want to have any of the buzzwords, Keeb, clack, thock, all of those like annoying words that everyone says on Reddit when they've been in the community for 48 hours. I didn't want any of those words. And I was like, there's only one word that sounds professional that actually describes what we do, and it's type, because it's just literally what you do on a keyboard. So that helped me narrow it down. I was like, type needs to be in there somewhere. So then it either needs to be type something or something type. So then I just started researching every suffix and prefix on Earth and making a giant list, which I'm still trying to find.
Listen, I'm just kind of mad because I was about to start a business called Keep Clack Thok, and I just got shut down.
Okay.
Immediately. Look at that live.
So yeah,
The hate.
I had a bunch of the I had Typeful, I had Typeworthy, Typeworks, Typefit,
I like Typeworks.
which I guess anybody can take these names.
Yep.
I had Bordle, Boardly. Yeah, that was one of my more gibberish ones.
There are no
and then
bad
some of my
ideas.
really gibberish was Blub.
Brainstorming.
Glub?
Blub. BLUB.
Blub.
I had Blubworks. That was my gibberish name. I had Typewise, which was a strong contender. Type Deck, which I was going to go with for a while. It kind of reminded me of Tech Deck when I was a kid.
Ooh, dude, Type Deck on Mechs on Deck would have been the coolest name ever for a stream.
But I think that domain might have already been taken. Which there are a lot of them that I really liked, but that if it's taken, it's over. Yeah. Sorry, buddy. I don't want to be typedeck.net. I want the .com. Yeah, I had some other bad ones. Aesthetically, which that one's too hard to spell. A lot of people will misspell that. But yeah, I just had so many little lines that I wanted it to check off. And then it took me probably 3 to 4 weeks. Every single moment of every single day, I was trying to think. Everything I saw, I was trying to make it spark something. And I don't even remember what it was. I don't know if I was watching church or what, but something came to me and I was like, Omni means all things type. I was like, it's perfect. And it checks all the other boxes. So the moment I thought of it, I was like, this is the only one that checks every single box.
I just imagine you and your wife, middle of packing boxes, you just pause and you're like, Blubworks.
That's exactly what happened.
She's just
we even had friends over and we started talking about if I had a name. And probably for an hour or two, we were all just sitting there in silence, just saying random things. And somebody would be like, nah, it was bad. It was every moment I could not stop thinking about a name. Because it was just so important. I was like,
Osiris nailed it on the second try for Mechs on Deck. I really
freaking cool.
I really my number one contender was Thok Talk, and I was told no.
I was on the
I don't know. I think we can do better. Just nope.
Yeah. Or I used to, in 2018 or whatever, we had that show Keep Talk.
Mm-hmm.
Or Keep Town. No, it's Keep Town. Keep Talk's the other thing.
Keep Talk's the website, yeah.
Keep Town. I hated the name because I hate the word keep. I was like, I can't settle. It has to be something that is perfect. And I'm not doing it until we get one. I don't care how long it takes. And then a domain squatter had the domain. So I was in a bidding war of Omnitype.
Oh.
That was a huge delay. The brand was ready to announce in probably September. And I was literally just trying to get the domain name. It took me that long.
Wow.
Because that jerk that was just holding out, trying to get as much money as possible.
Was it something...
I didn't want to redo our emails. Go ahead.
I was just say, was it something did he have it because of keywords, or was it
No, he wasn't using it. He was just a domain squatter. He straight up bought it in 1999, and he was going to hold it, and until somebody paid the price he wanted. It's never been used. I had Omnitype.co, and I was about to go with it, and then when I realized how much work it is to put into changing emails, I was like, I'm not doing this again down the road when we finally get .com. I was like, I'm doing this once. So then I decided to just go for it.
Well, congratulations. I love the website, the redesign. I mean, it feels familiar, yet has some more bells and whistles. So just a fantastic. Before we get to like a Q&A section, I know a lot of people have a lot of questions that I am sure you are able to answer. I want to talk about Mech Madness because we talked about that last night. Obviously, Mech Madness has been you've been relieved of your duties as the last 2 years. You kind of started something as something to do for fun, and it definitely evolved into something much, much bigger than I don't know if you ever anticipated it being. And now it's being run by Type Beast.
Yeah. So it was basically I watched y'all's stream. Was it last night or yesterday? I watched it today when I was driving to the bank.
Please don't watch our streams while driving, by the way, guys.
Oh, I listened.
Just so we cover our ground.
Y'all don't do much on the screen,
It's true. It's true.
You missed the stream with Lang and myself, though. We were getting up, showing off thighs. Like, come on.
Yeah. But so yeah, it basically was. I guess it was second half of 2020. I was kind of just realizing that this isn't going to happen if I have to do this. Like, I just don't have the time. Like, I don't think anyone realizes, and Ken might have not even realized how much work it is to set up Mech Madness. Like, it's probably too much work for even what gets out of it, but no one really understands how much work it is. So I was like, I 100% know that I can't do this. There's no doubt in my mind. I was like, it's either not happening or someone else is going to have to do it. And then he offered to do it. And I was just like, which I think he did say the first time he asked me was earlier in the year. And I was kind of like, no, that was before everything Shake blew up. And I was like, no, I think I'll still do it. Kind of still like my baby that like I created. But then later on in the year, I was so busy that I was like, literally didn't care. I was just like, please take it. I was like, I would rather someone do it than it not happen. So luckily, Type B stepped in to save it, or we wouldn't have it this year. So yeah, I guess it's definitely a relief that it's still going to happen, and I kind of get to participate. I'll definitely still be helping out whenever I can, but nowhere near as involved as like the first year I did all myself. Last year I had 2 or 3 people that helped me on all the back end stuff, because that definitely wouldn't have been possible last year. And then this year, like you said, is even bigger. So I think those same people are helping him that helped me last year. So they still know how things need to be done and learn from last year. So it's not completely brand new. Or so the same people know what mistakes we made and what we needed. Like he was talking about desk pads, we shouldn't have done that. That was kind of just like a trial. The seating should have changed for key sets, because now that we think about it, like, oh, obviously the one that sold the most is the most popular, and that one's going to win every time. Like, that was dumb to see them in the order of sales. It's like, we literally seeded them in the order of popularity. I was like, I'm surprised no one got a perfect bracket on key sets. So, which I've still been like in that chat with them, just kind of giving my opinions. So hopefully a lot of the things that were not hated on last year, but were brought up, can be fixed this year. And yeah, no more of the like, oh, he's just doing it to advertise his business. So
yeah, now it's on its own. Has nothing to do with, even though it's run by Type Beast, it's not going to be on the Type Beast brand. They don't sell anything anyway, so yeah, there's no complaints.
They trick me into reading a newsletter.
Yeah, right. But
yeah,
but
I mean,
no.
I guess my original thought, when like y'all said in the stream last night, in 2019 when I did it, I wasn't even full time. So like, I was in the mindset of like, I want to be full time. I need to do whatever I can do to grow to that point. So that definitely helped out. But if it helped me, I guess it did. But whatever, I made it. So I mean, it's not a crime.
Haters gonna hate, right?
I mean, I think
now we can create things like Power Light because that helped us
right.
grow. So it's not like it's a bad thing.
Well, and everyone had fun with it in 2019. I feel like the people that were complaining about you using it as a way to grow the brand more really only started like at the latter half of 2019 into 2020. I feel like that's when people started to
Hadn't gotten
gripe.
to experience it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was like, as weird as it sounds, it was still really small back when first Mech Madness happened, right? Like there was only, what, 500 brackets total?
Yeah, last
Something
year
like
was
that.
like insane multipliers of the year before. We have them all in a spreadsheet somewhere, but it was like crazy amount of people. Like it's like that's kind of why it stayed on our brand last year. Sorry. Like I always envisioned when I first made it, I was like, I don't know if it can become this, but I always envisioned it like every other large event in all other industries, which it might be crazy to, like obviously it's not equal to the Oscars or the Academy Awards, but for our community, it could be that thing, like that thing that recognizes everyone for every year. So it's like if it could get big enough, okay, I think Satisfaction 75 did it a little bit. Like I always envisioned like key sets when they run the next round being like key set of the year. Like it could be a thing that you're proud to have won. So that's kind of how I thought that it could get to one day. And I knew that it would eventually move away from our brand from the beginning. I was like, I don't want to even do this every year because eventually if it's for the community, it's got to be run by the community.
Mm-hmm.
So like I assumed eventually it would even become a group of people that ran it to where there's no single person that runs it. So I don't know if one day it might become that if anyone if it ends up becoming something that people like enough for that to even happen.
It's like our academy. We get an academy group of
I mean, I think it would be cool.
That'd be kind of cool.
And then obviously it would be really cool if it was like a physical event. Like obviously that's like so far out, but that would just be cool. Like to be able to everybody get together, like a meetup basically. I mean,
do we get all like spiffy? Do we rent out like
everybody got to wear tuxes.
Yeah.
We got a stage. We got like Teja to host.
Dude, now we get we get Glarses, dude, and he just makes jokes about MX Browns.
Makes fun of everyone.
It just sits there and roasts every single person in the line.
Like that would just be fun. So like I still hope that it could get to that point. I mean, dream big, I guess is what they say. No reason to say that it can't. Unless COVID takes over forever.
Good Lord.
But I don't think that's gonna happen. But yeah, I mean, I'm just excited it's still happening. And
we are
but
too.
My fear, like I think the reason I started that whole sentence, my fear of not moving it away from our brand last year was that the first year wasn't big enough for it to survive on its own, starting from a 0 follower account. And like, there's not a business pushing it to everyone that's already following them. So I was like, when it only had 500 brackets, like it's going to die if the second year it goes off on its own. So like last year, kind of like it multiplied by 5 or 10 times the amount of participants or whatever. So now it's a little more well known. Which last year I still didn't know, like, would last year be the last one, or do we need one more on our account with however many 45,000 followers to get that last push of awareness before it goes off on its own?
Mm-hmm.
But obviously I don't have time to do it, so it kind of just happened. But I hope that it can take off into its own thing. So that'd be pretty cool.
I think one thing I hope to see is now that it is not under your brand, and it's kind of on its own 2 feet, is that other brands will also promote it in the same way. Because I feel like they might have been a little hesitant to post about it, because it's putting them on your site, seeing your products and stuff, and maybe taking some sales away from them. And now they won't have that hesitation. They'll be able to just throw people to it and get stoked about it. And it can be even more of a community atmosphere, community togetherness that happens over Mech Madness. So it can be what you're talking about making it like an annual thing that gets to the point where we are, in 5 years actually having a live event where we celebrate it and we have, true awards, and there's multiple categories, even more so than um, just keyboard of the year and key set of the year. I think it would be cool to get to the point where we have, you know, boards smaller than 60, and then like maybe there's 65. You go by layouts.
Yeah, if we can get enough stuff happening in the market, that'd be really cool. And I hope it gets to that point, and I hope we can have a little academy. I think that would be the coolest way, is just everyone who's a large part of the community or has been for a long time all work together to make it the best it could be. Like, for it to actually be that big and the best it could possibly be, I'm pretty sure you could have people working on it all year long.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think, like, we don't start until like halfway through the year, start compiling, but it's like, I could see how eventually it could be like a small little organization. Like, obviously it's a huge aspiration, but why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've seen crazier things in this hobby.
2 years ago, you were going to the bathroom or pretending to go to the bathroom just to post the pictures. So, and look where it is now. So,
yeah, exactly. So, but again, I'm just like, it was very awesome to see on February 1st to see the launch of Omnitype. Very excited. Also, Just Joe Kang, Jord Kane, Jindal TV, and Vietnamese Goose. Thank you all for the follows. Guys, if you would like to ask questions, hit @Mechs on deck and then post the question. You're more than welcome to ask us a question, but if you would like to ask G Bur, I'm gonna have to get used to that. I'm gonna have to get used to G Bur.
That's a name that I always use for games. Like 5 or 6 years before keyboards. So it's not weird for me to be called that. It's not new to me, because all my friends that I play games with called me that. I tried Gert for a while, because that's a name that it's like a southern fast way of saying Garrett.
Gert.
I didn't like it. I felt so weird, and everybody kept calling me Gogurt. So I kind of swapped over to something more familiar.
First, you go.
I was just gonna say, Jord Kane asks, when are we getting that Omnitype apparel? Hoping for dad hats.
I don't know. Apparel never sells well, ever. I've tried it so many times.
You just got to group buy it, man.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. Definitely not at the top of the priority list, but we might have a little something sometime in the near future, but it's not necessarily planned at the moment. So I'd rather be working on boards than t-shirts.
Fair. Very fair. Fur PL1 asks, extras win. just all encompassing.
It's like, I get asked that 100 times a
day. Let's see. And then how's the Datsun running by Burgess Latro?
It's not.
Wow.
Maybe one day.
Your F's to pay respect.
Do you still have the lifts in the warehouse?
They're out there. I've never used them, but the guy who Cerakoted the Barrel ones actually used it a few weeks ago on his like Mustang, because he had to replace something, because he knew I had one. He was like, "Hey, can I come use your lift?" It's like, sure. I don't even know if it works. I've never used it, but
don't sue me when your car falls off of it.
Yeah, he was like, "How does this work?" And I was like, "You figure it out. I'm not being involved when this thing falls off."
Chewy, this one I think is for you. Are you going full send on Tuesday like you did farting on your first date?
I am not going full send on Tuesday. I think Tuesday is a solid set, but I'm like running out of, I don't have enough keyboards to.
That's not a problem. Who cares? I think I got 3 times the amount of key sets and keyboards. And none of them are being used though. So
purple is a nice color, but I don't, I know it's lavender. I know it's a very light. Tuesday doesn't really do it for me. That's not to say it's not a bad set. I think it looks nice, but it's not something that I could see myself putting on a keyboard that I own and using it and looking down and being like, that's beautiful. Like I like a lot darker tones, and I also despite Mr. G Bur here, I love the color green. So
Yeah, green and purple don't go together very well.
it's and yeah, I know that's what was the Joker theme set called?
Troubled Minds.
Troubled
Yes.
Minds. That's what it was. It's an old set. Whenever purple's Osiris's thing, and he can have it.
True. You know what? Interesting thing about Troubled Minds, I feel like that we don't have as many sets that are like that obnoxious. I felt like that was a very obnoxious set. Like even our like quote unquote obnoxious sets now are way more tame than that. Like that Berserk was pretty out there. Or
Skeletor.
Skeletor.
See, I think the word that you're trying to find is ugly. There's not as many ugly sets as there used to be. Actually, there are a lot of ugly sets, but not with like bright colors. Bright colors are hard. Like the way that I use bright colors is there's one bright color that is surrounded by non-bright colors so that it stands out as a bright color. If it's just bright colors everywhere, it's just a big blinding puke bowl of color that all blends together. I know Nebulent loves his bright colors, so he's probably like shaking his head right now. But
all right, so people have asked multiple times, how is the Bower Light development going? Any info that you can, any leaks about Bower Light?
I don't know. I feel like the pressure's building the longer it's taking. So I'm always scared to say things.
Actually lighter? Can you confirm 100% that it's lighter than the Bower?
Well, I technically can't 100% because I don't have one to hold.
There it is.
But 99%, I can. According to the weight in the CAD programs, it is lighter.
So,
but I guess information, I'm trying to think of what I can say. Which there actually is a new render of Bower Light on our website, kind of hidden in there, that I put on there. It's not in a prominent place, but it's on the website, just kind of there, not even saying what it is.
Start looking, guys.
But we're almost finished. Like I've been tweaking like crazy the design, just because there's so much more pressure injection molding to get it right. So I'm not taking any chances. Just trying to engineer every part of it to be the best that it can be in the restrictions of injection molding. But we're almost there. Which then I'll move on to 3D printed prototypes to make test fit everything before you go into tooling. And since it's Chinese New Year, like we already have to wait before anything can even move on tooling anyway. So we'll kind of use this month to get those prototypes in, just to confirm that everything fits, the reverse compatibility of the plate that we wanted works and everything. But that's kind of where we're at. Like I wish it would go faster, but I can't rush it. Too risky to rush it.
I feel it. And we got George Kane asks, will it have the Omnitype logo on it?
So I guess I can say that. So we started working on this however many months ago before the rebrand happened, but like we were in the process of the rebrand, so I knew that it was going to happen. So I made the choice, instead of making the logo actually in the board like that.
Yeah.
It's this part's just flat. Which one, it was because we weren't going to have that logo anymore, even though I could have put the new one on there. But it was kind of, with the way injection molding works, if you have something going in here this way, when the mold comes apart like this thing needs to come out before it goes up, or it's just going to rip everything. So by having this in there, it's going to get way more complex, and it just wasn't worth it. I was like, so I basically just decided to leave that flat, and we'll just do like the whatever kind of printing it's that we decide end up going silk screen or whatever it ends up be, and we'll just put the logo on there, so it'll be like flush with the finish, which then allows us to put anything we want there. So should we have a special edition, or we can change the color up depending on the color of the board. So it just opened up a lot of opportunities while also making the mold simpler, which you don't want to make it any more complex than it has to be. So yeah. But the stock ones will have our new logo, but it won't be like embossed into it.
Very nice. And then I guess the last question that I see on the Bauer Light, can we expect a price point under $500?
Yeah.
There it is.
Definitely.
And then going back, 303N asks, have you spoken with GMK on how their new machines have been ramping up?
I have no information. Not that I'm even hiding information. Like, obviously, it takes a really long time, not only to order them, for them to arrive, to assemble them and get them running, and then to train the people to do it correctly and to the standard that they want, times however many machines they're getting. But I have no more information than what they've said publicly about their timelines or whatever that they're shooting for. Every now and then I ask about it, but they give information when they want to give information. Obviously, like any other company, they don't want to say things until they're confirmed, so they don't have to go back on them. Which is, I think, what they did the past couple years. I think it was this time last year they said they were going to have new machines. And I don't know if it even happened, so I'm sure they're learning from that, like all of us have done, to underestimate instead of overestimate.
I have a question that someone asked similarly earlier. Obviously, with previous branding, there's a lot of tie-ins to Alabama. Was that into any consideration, or will we see any more tie-ins now with the rebrand to Omnitype back to the home state of Alabama?
I thought about that a lot, because I liked that part of the original brand. Like, I did it on purpose. I was like, Alabama is always the state everyone makes fun of. We're the dumbest, the slowest, we're bad at everything except football. So I was like, it would be cool to have something that people can go, oh wow, that came from Alabama. So that was kind of just the original reasoning for the entire persona. Highlighting that was just wanted to show that Alabama can do things good. We're not just a bunch of people in overalls and chewing on wheat with no shoes on. Like, but with the new one, since we were purposely trying to get away from that Dixie term, which is a Southern term, it felt like it was too wishy-washy to continue to promote being from Alabama, because that can easily be connected and misread or misled into saying the same things that we're trying to get away from. So we kind of just decided to remove any instance of, at least in the branding itself, and very specifically promoting and celebrating that we're from Alabama. Even though, like, that's what I wanted from the beginning, was that there's something that can be celebrated from here, but I just didn't want it to undo all the work that it took to rebrand by that one little part. So I kind of just decided not to.
Well, Alabama, I got you, man. And for those, I have a lot of family ties to Alabama. So
could have moved to Wisconsin, changed to Dairy Mech. Easy clap.
Easy clap.
Hey, Huntsville landed the Space Force headquarters. Okay.
Alabama has the only Mercedes-Benz plant in America.
I mean, how many national championships?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah, I lost count. 18, something like that.
It's like I think it's like most ever, up, if not most
Yeah.
ever, it's up there.
If you don't count Ivy League because Yale won like 14 times in a row in the
Yeah.
1800s. So moving up, we had a question earlier that I did want to touch on. Let me see if I can find who said it. One quick second. So who is this? Hung Dilo. I don't know. Hi. In the Omnitype website, I can't seem to find submit keyset design option anymore. Did you guys take that off intentionally?
Which, yes, we took it off intentionally, but I don't know if I've made the decision whether to not bring it back or not. I don't know if anyone ever realized it, but our website before was actually split into two completely different websites that were just made to look identical. Because originally when I started the business, we were on Squarespace, which is just a website builder that had e-commerce, and it's amazing for building websites that look really nice. You can customize everything very fast, drag drop kind of thing. But we outgrew the e-commerce abilities of Squarespace. I think it was around 2019. I think Mizu was the first set on the new shop. We moved to Shopify, but I was like, Shopify doesn't have drag and drop. It's completely like I'd have to code the whole thing by hand or pay someone to do it. So I basically kept Squarespace for all the non-shop stuff. So all the landing pages, all that stuff I kept on Squarespace and I just made them identical. And it worked for a while, but it was very like it was just splitting our SEO. Analytics were a mess because you didn't know what site they were coming from, and like it was just not a long-term solution in any way. So that was a huge part of this rebrand was everything that I had on Squarespace, moving it to Shopify. So instead of landing pages, I now have them all on the product page if no one has noticed. But like on Tuesday, everything that was on our landing page is now on the product page itself. So a lot of those pages we didn't get to before we had to launch just because they weren't insanely important to the running of the business. So some of them are still on the list to create and get up on the new site. But submissions, I don't know. I mean, I've had them open for, I don't know, a year or something. And not ever has a submission been a set that we've run. So it's like, I don't know what the point is. Not that there's like any hate to people submitting, but maybe we'll see.
Yeah. So as he says, analytics would be, I imagine, quite horrible to try and deal with. Let's see. Do you have a thing for, this is Pylon 7 says, do you have a thing for Dolch between the Motos and Dracula and Redline being Dolch variants and Think Caps being an inverse type of Dolch?
I think the entire community, if we had to take every single thing that is now and slowly pinpoint it to one thing, Dolch is where it all started. Like, Dolch created the very standard layout of a key set that almost every key set follows. Dark mods, lighter alphas. So like everything is a variant of Dolch basically, besides sets that are solid color. So like obviously modern Dolch is a variant of Dolch itself, and then modern Dolch Light is a variant of modern Dolch, which is a variant of Dolch. But all the rest, like Dracula, which I didn't design, but I don't think that wasn't like I'm going to take Dolch and change it.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like people don't even think that they're doing it and they're doing it because it's that integral of a piece from the very beginning that now people don't even realize. There's probably people that don't even know what Dolch are that are creating key sets that you could say look like Dolch. Like, so
when do you
that's just
make
kind of how it is.
when do you make future Dolch and future Dolch
Future Dolch?
Light?
Future Dolch.
You mean vintage modern Dolch, which is just regular Dolch, but I don't even know what that would be. Would it be like invisible caps? I could launch that pretty easily.
Ooh.
Air caps.
And unlike round 5 of Modern Dolch, is it going to just be called like no longer Modern Dolch?
Past Dolch.
Past Dolch.
Dolch of Christmas past.
It's got custom green mods. You can mix and match with the red and green. Boom.
Yeah.
Easy. There it is. Yeah, it is funny how like 2-3 key sets kind of made everything branch out.
Yeah, and it's like Granite was like a huge one, which is basically just Dolch but lighter, which predated Muted, but Muted is just Granite for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Olivia Dolch.
like, Olivia is just Dolch, like layout. Dark when the mods are darker than the alphas, it's basically Dolch.
But let's see. And Iwane says, since this removed were mentioned, didn't see fulfillment service mentioned. Is that something that you still offer for fulfillment? Or maybe I'm just blind and it is still there.
Yeah, I mean that's not on the new site yet. That's just one of the pages that we'll have to make. But that I have no plans of shutting down. Like we still do it. I just have to get the information back up for people to see.
I think it's important.
Technically all these pages are still up on the old site. They're just like harder to find because they're not really meant to be found anymore.
Well, that's one of the, obviously the main thing you want up is, okay, well, people want to order group buys and buy desk mats and other products. And I imagine that's obviously the primary. And as we are only 2 days into the new Omnitype website, I am sure you have wanted to take a deep breath and just take a second, because I know I would.
Yeah. I mean, I told the developers that we have, like, I'll give y'all a few days before I start hitting y'all with all the next stuff. So yeah, taking a breather for a few days on the website stuff, which I told my wife, I guess it was yesterday, that like for so many weeks or a month, the entire time I've had like all of this stuff has to get done before February 1st. That's the only date I had in my mind. And then once February 1st hit, I was like, what do I do now? It's like, obviously there's a ton of stuff to do, but just like in my head, I was like, it was weird because like that day wasn't there anymore.
It felt very weird for us every episode being like not having a set to talk about from you, like any products to talk about, because you're one of the ones that has always had something every month. I don't remember the last time you took a month off since you've been full time in terms of
June 2019, right?
Yeah, it was the month before Bliss.
Yep, June 2019.
After Mizu, we had 1 month.
That's right.
Cap.
Because that was when Oblivion ran, and I remember you talking about how you didn't want to go compete with Oblivion.
Well, even Mizu, Mizu had a month between Minimal. Like at that point, I had never done 2 in a row because I was still on that like spacing out. And then Minimal was 6 months after Modern Dolch. So after Bliss was the first time we ever did 2 in a row, and then we never stopped. Which I actually wanted to run one this month. Like I wanted our transition to only take 2 weeks and then launch one mid-January. But it was just, I didn't want to risk someone else's project by like rushing it or something like that. So decided to take time and just go a whole month.
Yeah. When you start remembering dates of when keycaps ran.
So I remember every single month of every set like I've ever run, like in order easily. And a lot of times I can remember the sets that ran with them from other people.
But yeah, we'll talk about this. So Omnitype Digital Aaron says, Omnitype, real talk though, did you intend your new logo to evoke the Alabama flag? Because it kind of does, and that doesn't really sit well with a lot of people. So I figure let's just be open about
Good
this.
question. Man, personally, I don't think it looks like it in any way because the Alabama flag is a red X, like this. And actually, the Dixie Mech logo literally had an X to look like the Alabama flag, purposefully. The original Dixie Mech logo very purposely did that for all the reasons I said. I just wanted to bring good things to the name of Alabama. But no, the new one, I've never heard anyone say that, so I don't know who a lot of people are. But no, there was no intention of that. If you look on the page that they linked earlier about the whole announcement, the designers that we worked with made a cool thing displaying all of the elements and where they took them from as far as keyboards and how those became a thing. Yeah, I don't think it, and I don't know why the Alabama flag would be bad. I mean, it's a state that exists.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and yeah, that's the other thing. It's supposed to be arrow keys. I mean, if that's for those wondering, the
Yeah, I mean that was kind of where
it's the arrow keys. That's it. I mean, when I see that, I'm reminded of God. What's that set? SA Abyss. Is that I think that was that SA Abyss had those arrow keys.
Oh yeah,
it was a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where that kind of that's when I first saw that I was like, I feel like I've seen that before, and I remember it was like, yeah, it was SA Abyss. So
Yeah, but no, that was not on purpose. If that's what anyone sees, most people equate it to that like anime angry icon that
Yeah.
someone just posted.
oh, the
whatever
I'm
that thing is
angry on
called.
the forehead.
Yeah.
I guess it's.
Which
I think it's supposed to be like veins.
yeah, like the moment that the design firm showed it to me, I was like, that's pretty cool. Like part of the thing that I was asking for, like we talked a lot about the persona of the brand, not even what it looks like. Like what does it display personality wise? And I was like, that's what I didn't want to veer too far away from. I was like, not even what the brand is called or what it says. The style of the branding was very like industrial and very strong, not whimsical, not playful. So it's like I didn't want to get away from that. That's why a lot of those names I didn't go with because they seemed too goofy or too light. Or I was like, that's not who we are. I need something that's like confident and strong and sharp, pointy corners. And so when I saw it, I was like, oh, it literally is close to the icon of like I'm mad. So, and I was like, and a lot of people like weeb sets, so that'll go over well. And we have our own emoji built into every phone on Earth.
Yeah, you don't even have to like do any of the work on that. Everyone just knows. It'll be synonymous. Pretty soon it won't be the anger emote, it'll just be for Omnitype.
Boom. Easy.
Yeah, so you can just boom.
Omni-chan type. So, well, guys, if you have any more questions, I want to talk about our awesome sponsors right now. First off, with Omnitype GMK Tuesday, it's live right now, and that link does look like it has been fixed. So, yep, if you hit that link, it does help give us a kickback, which helps us continue the channel. But yeah, GMK Tuesday running right now. Great looking purple set. So go check that out and go check out the new website. Lots of cool stuff on there. Next up, Project Keyboards. You can go to mechsondeck.project.link. GMK Astral coming out very soon. I really love that set as well. So very clean,
on that one.
clean looking set. So be sure to check that out. Keep your ears to the ground for that one. And then canonkeys.com/mechsondeck. You can go check out GMK Birch. Very, very cool, very clean looking set there as well. And there's lots of other things on the Canon Keys website, lots of switches, desk mats, and what have you, as well as our awesome partners to check out. We got Zap Cables. He makes the best cables in the business. So go check him out. So you can either build one yourself. Pretty easy to build the cables with the kits that he provides. He also does cable runs where he'll make a bunch and you can buy them there as well. So, and he's got great desk mats and all that other stuff on there. So check that out. Type Beast. He is going to be running Mech Madness. So very excited to see that as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we don't get a newsletter for a little bit, as he will most likely be a little bit busy over the next 2 to 3 months. But he does have an amazing newsletter. So check that out. And then Smith and Rune, smithrune.com. Iron 165 is coming out. Just no letters, just Iron 165. So awesome that we get to see kind of the final product of the Iron 165 coming out soon. So be sure to check that out there.
So what's next for Omnitype? What's in the cards over the next couple months for the crew?
The crew. Well, I have big plans for this year. This is kind of like the year that I don't want to hold back anymore. Like, obviously, you hold back to make sure you don't overdo it and drown in success. But I think 3 years of building foundation that we're ready to go and not hold back anymore. So that's what I'm trying to ramp up to. So we're trying to move into a new building because we already outgrew this one. So that's in the works, which we're just planning on buying land and building one. So I've been doing all that at the same time.
Are you going to keep the car? Are you going to keep the car lift?
No, that probably should sell that with this. So we're trying to get in the process of that. I mean, it'll take months once it gets started to build a building from scratch. But that's something that we're hoping that we can be into this year. Hiring employees is on the list. We've kind of hit the ceiling of what 2 people can do.
There you go. Well, congrats on the growth.
Survive, yeah. Thanks.
Absolutely.
I guess that's not even products. I guess products we announce when we announce them, you know.
See it when you see it.
Yeah. And guys, keep your eyes peeled for the Bauer Light, as that will be coming sometime in the future, sometime after February 3rd, 2020. 2021, I should say. Sorry,
but also after February 3rd,
2022.
Also 1999.
Also 1999. So, well, G Bur, thank you very much for coming on, talking about. Congratulations. Really excited that Omnitype is up off the ground. How much is the Bauer Light going to cost? I know that has not been released yet. Less than 500, as we stated.
Less than 500. Yeah, more than one.
More than one, less than 500.
Yep.
Boom. So, guys, get excited for that. We've been talking about that as being one of the more hype boards in the near future. So, and other than that, we've got a build this weekend I'm building a Squid 60 for a client. So that will be at noon on Saturday. So be sure to come check that out, as I finally build a board that Cyrus beat me to building, one that I co-designed with. And then if you are interested in a Squid 60, the group buy raffle will start on Friday at 11 a.m. and it will end Saturday at 11 a.m. And I will be sending out invoices before stream. So thank you guys for checking out the stream. And thank you, Omnitype, for joining us tonight.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Who are we wanting to raid tonight?
Who's on?
We've got Alex, we've got Andy, Mentorly, Basic, Max F. What are we feeling?
Mr. G
raid
Bur,
this Mechs on Deck channel. They seem cool.
Dude, just leave it. Just close it out.
They show a little bit too much. Let's throw it. We very rarely get to throw it to Mr. Odos.
It's true.
He usually streams before us, so
we can throw it on over.
We haven't returned a raid in a hot minute, so. But
Well, with that being
Next
said,
on deck needs to show more high quality beard shots. We can do
Garrett, appreciate you coming and hanging out with us again. And again, congrats on the rebrand and getting everything launched. And then,
Thank you.
Of course, come hang out with us on Saturday at 2 p.m. Chewy will be building a Squid 60. And I think Chewy wants you to spam Omnitype.
there it is. The logo and everything already there. So thank you guys. And as always, buy a Switch tester.